Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4, and we are going to discuss the content and contextual analysis of selected primary sources, which is Emilio Aguinaldo, Mga Gunita ng Himagsikan. So, let's proceed.
Um, Background of Emilio Aguinaldo, the author of Mga Gunita ng Himagsikan. What is the occupational position of the author? Emilio Aguinaldo was the first president of the Philippines and the one who proclaimed freedom in our country. He was from an influential family in Cavite, Cavite. He learned how to be a great leader at an early age because he became a cabeza de barangay and at the age of 25, a gobernador senior Kapitan Municipal. Months later, he joined the group of Katipunan and used the nom de guerre Magdalo. What are some of the facts about the author that makes him dependable in writing the document? The author is the author is dependable not only because of his position, but because he played an important role in the Philippine Revolution. Emilio Aguinaldo said that the memoirs of the book were from a diary it documents he preserved and family lore gathered from his elders. What were the author's motivation in writing the document? Emilio Aguinaldo's motivation in writing his book are to help Filipino historians in seeing the field of Philippine history that also links the fragments of its part to to preserve the memory of the present generation and for the future of the hardship and tribulation of the people of our time that contribute to the welfare of all, and to remember the native heroism of every Filipino and defending the freedom that is cherished beyond any foreigner's effort to conceal.
Next slide. So, for the part 2, the historical background of the document. So, what period in Philippine history did the document tackle? Aguinaldo, a lot in his age between 1928 and 1946, he produces in longhand the first volume of his memoirs, Mga Gunita ng Himagsikan, 1964, which is translated from the original Tagalog as Memoirs on the Revolution on 1967. In his preface, Aguinaldo says that the memoirs were based on the diary he kept, the documents he preserved, and the family lore gathered from his elders. We do not know whether this diary is existent or wala pang nakakapagbigay ng information kung nasan yung diary ngayon. All we have is an account from his birth and early years, ending with the 1897 Treaty of Biak na Bato. So, some facts that the document tells about Filipinos and the life of the Philippine at the time it was written. Emilio Aguinaldo fought for a free and an independence Philippine first against Spain and then against the United States. So, ipinaglaban niya yung kalayaan, kasama ng mga kasamahan niya, pinaglaban nila yung kalayaan ng Pilipinas against Spain and then sa United States when the Philippines had declared itself independent republic or an independent republic in 1898, and Aguinaldo becomes its president. A significant milestone was reached in the struggle against colonial rules in Asia. So, second, how much Filipinos value their freedom and independence in their own country. Third, Filipinos like celebrating various holidays, mga events, yung mga pinagdiriwang nila. And Filipinos are unable to relocate or just lack freedom in their own nation. So for the part C, what world, regional, domestic events affected the Philippines in general during this period? So in Kawit, Cavite, Filipino revolutionaries under the leadership of President Aguinaldo, declared the independence of the Philippines from Spain. The Spanish-American War and its aftermath postponed the Philippine independence until after World War II. Next.
Content presentation and analysis. A. How were the Filipinos and the Philippines portrayed in the document and why do you think so? Filipinos and Philippines portrayed as revolutionists because they are aiming for freedom and independency among the Spaniard. B. Provide important terms or concept and their meaning in relation to the content of the document. The important terms and concept in the account of Emilio Aguinaldo were first the revolution towards Spaniard. It is known that is not the first attempt to fight back against Spaniard, but Filipinos were determined to free the land of the Philippines in the Spaniard regiment. What previous my conception in the Philippine history was the book. What new information have you learned through the document? Referring to some confused accounts, Emilio Aguinaldo shows some altered event because for those that were written, others' details have been forgotten and most of the details were documented in lack of reliable references August 26, 1896 in a different place. Next slide.
Number 4. Contribution and relevance of the document. A. How relevant the document in reconstructing the past of the Philippines and its people. The text is crucial in recreating the past of the Philippines and its people since it provided us with important information and an outline of the events that occurred during the Spaniards' foreign colonialism. The paper describes certain specifics of our ancestors' condition during the Spanish administration, which aids in comprehending their situations at the time. It will help us understand what the Filipinos did during that time to fight back the foreign invaders, which shows heroism in defending the country. It is really important for us to know the history of our country to cherish the courage and sacrifices that they have done just to protect the country. So, dito po is pinapakita po kung gaano po kahalaga malaman natin or pag-aralan para po kilalanin ang lahat ng sakripisyo na ginawa ng ating mga bayani just to protect our country.
So, provide the significance of the document with the following. Yung kahalagahan nito sa mga scholars, historians, and analysts, kung gaano siya kahalaga na mapag-aralan or malaman nila. It really significant to some analysts to know about the document to help them reconstruct the past. It is important because it provides a broad perspective of what happened earlier in our past or during the days when the Philippines was colonized by the other country. So for economy, the economy that they have before compared to the economy that we have now is very different. It may also assist us in improving or identifying what type of economy we require or what we will need to establish for our country at this moment and likely in the near future. So kung ikukumpara yung economy ngayon and economy nung sa nakaraan, kailangan malaman natin kung ano yung kailangan pa nating i-improve. So for the socio-cultural, we have been doing some traits that were influenced by other countries that colonized us in the past. We need to understand its socio-cultural as it became part of us and we've been practicing it up until now. So that is why we need to imply. Next slide. So in political, The political strategy devised by our hero, as mentioned in the document, is essential now because it reveals their strengths, flaws in fighting for our country's independence. It may serve as a guide for our government today, such as increasing the armed forces and drafting and refining laws that all provide must that all people must follow. Last but not the least, a country needs a strong leader. 5. Religious. As everyone is aware, the Spanish occupied the Philippines for a long, long time. In actuality, na-adapt na natin sa kanila yung Catholicism na tinuro ng mga Espanyol. Filipino has been living and practicing Catholicism for a long time. The Philippines have been classified as a Catholic nation. So that is the reason why we need to understand its religious relation. Next slide po. Geography. Most lands, or as we are very aware, most lands and states in the Philippines were owned by Spanish friars who tricked and manipulated Filipinos back then in our past. Thanks for Emilio Aguinaldo and other national heroes' bravery, Filipinos don't have to live in this kind of greediness. We are able to reclaim what is ours or reclaim some lands and properties that has been taken to most Filipinos back then, even in fact that it is owned by Filipinos in the first place. So Filipino youth need to understand, tayong mga kabataan, kailangan nating malaman kung paano ba tayo nagkaroon ng kalayaan o paano ba natin nakuha yung kalayaan na meron tayo ngayon. Filipino youth need to understand the document's significance for us to be aware and informed about about what really happened in the past events. It matters for the reason that this paper opened everyone's eyes to the situation of the Filipino people at that time. We can easily analyze what really happened back then, even if we may never find ourselves in that scenario. Kahit wala tayo nun, kung alam natin kung paano siya o kung anong nangyari ng mga panahong yun, ma-analyze natin or maiisa-isip natin at maiisa puso natin, mapapahalagahan natin yung history natin. Just knowing about it help us appreciate, respect, and comprehend the freedom that we have now. We are taught to love, protect, and nationalize our country, just like what Dr. Jose Rizal said, ang kabataan ng pag-asa ng bayan. So we need to open our eyes, kailangan nating mamulat at magkaroon ng kaalaman about sa nangyari nung nakaraan. So that's all for today. And I hope na madami kayong na-cope up na information about sa past, lalo na dun sa topic ng mga gunita ng himagsikan ni Emilio Aguinaldo. Thank you.